Welcome to another discussion of self-assessment report for Diploma Engineering program. Today we'll discuss about Criterion 3.2 for attainment of course outcome. Criterion 3.2 has two sub-criterion, and sub-criterion 3.2.1 ask for assessment pattern and assessment tools used for continuous evaluation and end semester examination. And sub-criterion 3.2.2 requires recording of all assessment records and computation of outcomes as stated by NBA SAR guidelines. We'll discuss Criterion 3.2.2 in details with some sample examples. This is the quality loop for course outcomes. From the figure, we can see that the courses are defined by some course outcomes. The courses are defined by course outcomes, and outcomes are assessed as per assessment pattern, and assessment tools are used to measure the outcomes or the attainment levels. Targets are set. For this initial exercises, targets are set for each course, and out of this course, for each course outcomes also the targets may be set. If there is any negative attainment, after evaluation the analysis is carried out, and during the gap analysis, if there is any negative gap on attainment with the target, action plan has to be done for bridging the gap, and this is generally done by the academic committee and internal quality assurance cell. And based on the analysis and recommendations are sent to for the next academic session, which are to be implemented in the next session only for continuous improvement. NBA visiting team checks whether this quality loop is completed or not for all the courses and all COs. So this is one of the most important exercise to be done as one of the NBA requirements, and based on this the continuous improvement process is ensured. If this quality loop process is not completed, then there is no scope of improvement of the quality in the next academic session. So under sub-criterion 3.2.1, evaluation of course outcome is process of analysis of data generated during the teaching learning process. This is achieved by some assessment patterns and tools. These are some of the samples of assessment tools listed by NBA, and the institute can develop their own tools as add-on. The evaluation of CO depends on the quality of data generated during the assessment. So as per NBA SAR guidelines, the assessment process consists of specific exam, internal and external evaluation, tutorial questions, assignments, laboratory test, project evaluation, and internally developed assessment tools, projects, presentation, oral examination, and etc. The NBA visiting team may inspect the records of data collected for evaluation and proof of use of assessment tools. All these documents has to be produced before the NBA visiting teams. Under Subcriterion 3.2.2, there are two computation processes. First is measuring course outcomes attained through the board examinations, and then measuring course outcomes attained through internal assessment. So in most of the institute, there are two components. One is internal assessment and another is end semester examination. Generally, for tier 2 type institutes, the end semester is conducted by the board or council. So for that, a separate computation has to be carried out, and the internal parts can be done from time to time during the continuous evaluation process. So first we'll discuss about measuring course outcomes attained through board examination. And the first step is set the target. The target may be stated in terms of percentage of students getting more than the board average marks in the final examination. The program may choose an attainment level on its own, but with proper justification. This target level will change in every assessment year depending upon the attainment. We will discuss how to set the target levels with one example. We will take one example that can be used by one program. NBA identifies 3 levels of targets: level 1, level 2 and level 3, as well as for the attainment. We will consider that 50% of the students scoring more than board average marks are assumed as level 1, and 60% of the students scoring more than board average mark is level 2, and for 70% it is level 3, highest, moderate and slight attainment or target, we can say. So first we have to find out the board average marks to set the levels, set the target. We shall set the CO attainment target based on the average performance level in the board examination for the last 3 assessment years. We will consider a course, say the course code is ME301. Now based on average performance, we will calculate. Suppose the board average for last 3 academic years is this average percentages. This is the current academic year, and for this year we have to set the target. The average of the this is the average marks and average students above board average. That means 70% of the students got more than 55% marks in this academic year, and in this academic year 61% of the students scored more than the average 54 marks in the respective year, and so on. So for these 3 years the average percentage is 63. That means during these 3 years 63% of the students scored above the average marks. So if it is 63, then the average target is 2.3. That means during last 3 years in the board examination, this target is achieved. That means 2.3. So for the current academic year, we have to set a target slightly above 2.3. So we have to set a target above 2.3. It may be 2.4 or 2.5 also. So target level will be the same for all the COs of this course, because in board examination there is no target level for each and every CO. For one course, one target. Now this way we have to calculate the target level for all the courses. For example, I have listed a few, say this is one course, this is another course, and so on, and our discussion will be based on the results of this course sample only. So in this course we have calculated the average target during last 3 years based on the board examination is 2.3. So suppose we have set a target of 2.5 for current assessment year. So our target become 2.5 for this course, and for other course it may be so. If the average target were 2.7, we can set 2.8. If it is 2.6, a higher target which is 2.7, and so on. So this year's our calculation will be based on this subject or course in which we have set a target of 2.5. We will discuss the attainment level of CO for a system in which relative grading system is used. And in the example we have taken is like this. In the end semester examination, the grading system is like this. The first 1/8 of the students are awarded A+ grade, and this constitute 12.5% of the successful students. Next 1/8 of the students are awarded grade A, and this also constitute 12.5%, but both A+ and A, it will be 25%. Next grading is B, in which there are 2/8 of the students based on the performance, and since it is 2/8 of the students, so it will be again 25%, and therefore 25 plus 25, it will be 50% of the students. So if we consider the grade A+, A and B as a whole, that means 50% of the students are in these 3 grades. So we will take average marks as this one. Since it is not mark but grade, so we will consider B as the average grade. On the basis of that, we will calculate our attainment level. For board examination, we will calculate these things. Say end semester examination, we are going to calculate name of the institute, courses we are calculating for 2 courses, ME 301 and ME 302. It has to be for all the courses, and in place of marks I am taking grade, because the system we are considering has the grading system. So maximum grade is A+, and the set target grade, as we have considered just now, 50% of the students are within the B group, B grade, so we take B as the set target. So we will consider only those students who are above B, B and above. That means either B or A or A+. We take number of students as 9. It may be 40, 60 or any number, but in this sample example we take that there are 9 students and their grades are tabulated this way. And by using a simple Excel sheet, we can find out the board average. It is already B. number of students getting above target grade. In place of target mark, I am mentioning it as a target grade, which is the board average. So 6 number of students out of 9 marks more than the board average, or grade more than the board average in this subject. And in this subject, 5 students out of 9 have scored grades higher than the board average. So if it is 6, then the percentage becomes 67, and for this it is 56. And for 57, the CO attainment level for this course, CO attainment level is 2.7. And for subject ME302, CO attainment level is 1.6. The level we have already defined. Attainment level 1 is more than 50. Attainment level 2 is between 60 and 70, and above 70 is attainment level 3. In our case, the attainment is 67%, so attainment level is 2.7. It is 56%, attainment level is 1.6. Now we will measure the CO attainment through internal assessment. We have already calculated or computed the CO attainment on the basis of board examination. Now next component is internal assessment component. So for internal assessment component, we have all the records for every CO, CO1, CO2 and so on. So for this also we have to state the target for calculation. The target may be in terms of percentage of students getting more than class average marks. So in this case, we have access to the class average marks, but since the board examination is relative grading system, we have no access to the average marks of the board, but we have access to the average grade of the board. But in case of internal assessment, we have the record of the class average, and we can also state the target, set the target. The institute or program can set their own target, but with some justification. In some cases, the set internal assessment tools are designed centrally by the State Council, and the institute are asked to implement the set of tools for continuous internal evaluation. For example, some boards gives complete set of tools like poster presentation, class test, home assignment, quiz, etc. Everything is fixed how the evaluation has to be carried out, and in that sense the internal evaluation is same like in end semester examination. Now we will calculate the target level for internal assessment. So I am considering class test 1, but this can be done for class test 2, class test 3 and home assignment 1, home assignment 2 or everything, and it should target all the COs. In this example, I am taking only CO1 and CO2 of the course, and in this class test CO1 had maximum 15 marks question, and for CO2 there were 10 marks question, and the maximum marks is this, and the set target marks is 6 and 4. First we have to tabulate the marks for the students, 9 numbers of students. These are the marks scored by the students for in the questions addressing CO1, and in the questions addressing CO2 the students scored these marks, and from this we can calculate the class average, which is 6 for CO1 and 4 for CO2. Now, number of students getting above target marks. Our target mark is 6 for CO1 and 4 for CO2 average marks. So 5 students has scored more than the average marks 6, and for CO2 6 students have scored more than the average mark 4. So if it is 5 out of 9, the percentage of students getting more than the target marks is 56, and this is 67. And for 56, it is in this range, and so it is the CO attainment level is 1.6 for CO1, and for CO2 the attainment level is 2.7. So this way we have to calculate the attainment level for all the COs for this course ME301. Now the course outcome attainment. That means we have find the attainment level for the end semester examination as well as for the internal assessment. But both these two components has to be considered for calculating the overall CO attainment, which is the combination of attainment of board examination and attainment of internal assessment. So for this, there is some weightage schemes. The weightage has to be given to board examination as well as the internal assessment. The total sum of the weightage should be 100%. And NBA has given some guidelines regarding this. In our example, sample calculations, the weightages are like this: 80% for end semester or board examination, 20% for internal assessment. But this can be anything like 70-30, 60-40 and so on, but it should be with proper justification and documentation. Now the formula is overall CO attainment is equal to, this is 80% weightage, so 0.8 multiplied by end semester or board examination attainment level, and for internal component, internal assessment attainment level multiplied by 0.2, the value will give us the overall attainment level. Now the sample calculation for this subject. We are considering this subject only. So you can rewind this video and you can see that the CO1 attainment level for this course in internal assessment was 1.6 for CO1, and CO2 attainment level was 2.7. From the class test it was calculated. Again, for board examination, course attainment levels of this is 2.7. And one thing it should be noted that for board examination we do not have the attainment level for each and every outcomes CO, but whatever CO we get, that will be for all the COs. It may be CO1, CO2, CO3 and things. For all the COs, the attainment level will be this, equal. So as per the formula, overall attainment for CO1 is equal to 2.7, the attainment level of the board examination, multiplied by 0.8, the weightage, 1.6, the attainment level for CO1, multiplied by 0.2, 2.48 is the total attainment level for CO1. And overall attainment for CO2 is 2.7 and 2.7 both same, so it will remain same, 2.7 overall attainment level. Okay, I think it should be 4.6 if it is that. So with this we'll take this value 2.46. With this value we'll go to the next step. So overall attainment levels for CO1 is 2.46 and for CO2 is 2.7. Okay. We have calculated the attainment level for CO1 and CO2, and this way we have to calculate the attainment level for CO3, CO4, CO5 and so on. And now initially at the very beginning we set the target of 2.5 for this course. So this is the target level for the course ME301, and we have from calculation we get the attainment level for CO1 is 2.46 and for CO2 it is 2.7. So the difference is 1.6. So there is a gap, and the percentage of the gap is 1.6%. This is a very small gap, and in this case the attainment is achieved. That means attainment is more than the target. So this attainment is achieved, and for the next session we have to set a higher target. Previous year it was 2.7. For the current academic session our attainment target will be 2.8, 2.9, like this, higher than the previous one. Now in this case, since the attainment level is not attained, there should be some action placed for improvement. I have given just a sample action plan. It may be a more realistic one. For only example I have given that explain with some real life situation and engage in self-learning process. That means the teaching learning, we are addressing the teaching learning process so that this gap can be minimized in the next academic session. And this type of process is called the closing the loop. Once we make the statement for the action plan and forward it to the department for necessary action for the next academic session, then the loop is closed, and that ensures that the quality loop is complete. So if we look at this picture again, for the course there are CO, there are some assessment pattern and assessment tools, and based on the assessment and evaluation CO has been attained. This calculation is done. Again at the very beginning the CO target was fixed, and if there is some difference in the target and the attainment, which is also called the gap analysis, generally done by the academic audit team, and based on the gap, if necessary, the audit team or the internal quality assurance cell will give some plan for bridging the gap, and that recommendation will go to the department to be implemented in the next academic session. So this is the completion of the loop or closing the loop at the course level. Same calculation will be used for the attainment level of PO and CO in the CO-PO and CO-PSO2 matrix, and that is another process, and that is another loop. That loop is called the closing the loop at program level. So we have completed the process in the course level, and same calculation will be used again in the program levels also. So thank you. We have discussed with some examples how targets are set, and based on the target how to compute the attainment level considering the board examination and internal assessment, giving the proper weightage, and finally we have calculated the overall attainment level, and the difference of the overall attainment level for every course with the set attainment level gives us the gap analysis. If the attainment target is not attained, then necessary action plan has to be recommended to be implemented in the next academic session. So that's all. Thank you.